What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cover 4 podcast. This is our pilot episode. My name's Jeff Schmidt. You can find me on Twitter at JeffSchmidt9.
I'm Mike Margetti. You can find me on Twitter at DraftMaverick.
I'm Josh Wingate. You can find me on Twitter at JoshWingate_302.
There's Mike Miller. You can find me on Twitter, A-Town's Finest.
So with it being our first episode, we kind of wanted to talk about the 22 draft prospects that are going to be at the actual draft. There's some big names, obviously, that are going to be there, and there's some big names that are not going to be there. Myles Garrett, for instance, is going to be home watching with his family. Of the 22 prospects that are going to be at the draft, who do you think is going to wait the longest to hear their name called? Maverick, we'll start with you.
This is a tough one. Quite honestly, there are quite a few of these confirmed prospects that I have graded in the second or third round. So, for me, there are a lot of polarizing prospects on this also. John Ross, for example, is one that could go anywhere from number 8 overall to potentially 40, depending on how his medical, how teams feel about his medical. Chances are he's going to go in the first round, so he shouldn't wait too long. Guys like the four guys that I would say it'll come down between Adoree Jackson, who could potentially go in the late first round, but could fall well into the second round. I think his return ability is going to keep him in the second round and keep him from falling into the third. DeShone Kizer is an interesting one. Being a quarterback, there's obviously a lot more demand on the position, so he could still potentially go in the first round. But there's also a lot of concerns surrounding him right now that could easily drop him into the second. And personally, I have a third round grade on it. Malik McDowell is arguably a top 10 talent overall in the draft, but he has coachability concerns and just football character concerns. Not necessarily off the field character concerns, but just he's basically one of those guys that will play when he wants to play and only when he wants to play. So he's going to be very polarizing for coaches to decide if they want to deal with that. So he could go anywhere from the middle of the first round to potentially in the second. We saw with Chris Jones last year at Mississippi State. He was a potential top 20 talent that ended up going in the second round. And the other one for me, there are actually two more for me. Cam Robinson's another guy that could go. He could go very early in the first, being that he's a left tackle with all the talent, but he hasn't put it all together, so he could easily slide out of the first. And then the guy that I think is going to be on the board the longest is Takkarist McKinney. He's a high-effort guy. He's almost the exact opposite of Malik McDowell. You love his energy on the field, but he has no idea what he's doing. You have absolutely no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing. And then on top of that, he's got a shoulder injury that he just had surgery on. He might miss a portion of the season, potentially half the season. Similar to Shaq Lawson last year. It didn't affect Shaq Lawson, but Shaq Lawson was also a lot more explosive of an athlete. So he ended up going, I believe, 11th overall or 13th, something like that. Takkarist McKinney, I think, could potentially slide even all the way to the third round.
Absolutely. It's Kizer for me. When your head coach kind of calls you out and says, hey, you're not ready for the NFL, and then he kind of comes back and is brutally honest and says, yeah, you know what? I still have a lot to work on. To me, it just doesn't correlate, and NFL coaches, no matter what, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I don't want this guy in the first, second round now. I'm going to go improve position somewhere else, and to me, it just seems like Kizer's going to have a steep fall, maybe even to the beginning of the third round. I don't think it'll last that long, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were to happen that way.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Josh, what do you think?
I think I agree with Kizer, but the name that pops off to me is Cam Robinson. I didn't like his film. I don't know where I'd put him. Maybe at guard, and I can't draft a guard in this class this high. So I would probably go Cam Robinson or DeShone Kizer.
Definitely, either one could work. I mean, it's the draft is as we know it. Things happen. Guys shoot up that you think might be third round picks, and they end up in the first round. So you honestly never know what GMs and teams are thinking. Moving on, the Browns have talked about possibly drafting Mitchell Trubisky with the number 1 overall pick. We all think that's a crazy idea, but another proposition with all the draft capital that they do have, should the Browns trade up to number 2 and take Mitchell Trubisky at number 2 and obviously select Myles Garrett at number 1? Thoughts?
No,
Absolutely not. I don't even think it's a scenario that even is a logical conversation. First of all, what they would have to give up to get up there, and second, it just doesn't make sense. They have 3 second-round picks, correct?
I believe it's
believe so.
1. Or maybe 2.
The Browns have
I know they have
2.
multiple. No, they have 3 third-round picks, I believe.
Yeah, the Browns have
3 second-round
2
picks, 2 second-round
two
picks.
second-round
They
picks.
have 2 second-round picks.
They got
But I cannot. The scenario would realistically, they would probably have to give up a third and 2 seconds, as well as something next year
they got a lot of
to
picks.
get there. I don't understand. I don't know. It's not even something I can legitimately make an argument. Think of what?
Oh, I was going to say, think of all the tickets they could sell by drafting a local quarterback.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that the Browns fans would be excited.
Browns fans are excited about everything. My father-in-law is a Browns fan. They think they're going to the draft they're going to the draft they're going to the Super Bowl every year. They are legitimately.
That's because every year they have the chance to get the best player in the draft with the top 2 picks.
Josh, can you do me a favor and let me know what they're drinking?
Sad story.
Can you give me their magic happy juice potion that they're drinking? Because it just does not make any sense to me at all.
It doesn't. And I can't stand it. I go to my father-in-law's house. He said, I don't know. I think this year might be the year. I can't do it. I don't know how this year could be the year. Your roster is awful.
What he probably means is this is going to be the year that they don't have to keep changing the name on that jersey.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who
Sad
knows?
story.
Yeah, that sad, poor jersey. But
You guys want to hear a sad story?
What's that?
My parents met at a Browns game.
oh man.
The Browns are the reason I'm sitting
That's
here. It's the saddest story of all time.
But unfortunately, you're not a Super Bowl baby. You're just a Browns baby. It's all right. We still love you, Mavs.
I got nothing else to add to that.
We love you. All right, so we all agree.
So sad so quickly.
Yeah, I'm depressed now, guys. I'm sorry. So we all agree that the Browns have no business trading up to number 2, and they have no business in taking Mitchell Trubisky at all. Well, not at all. I shouldn't say at all, but not at number 1.
Yeah.
If we could build the perfect Browns draft, for instance, if we were sitting there, we were Sashi Brown, we're picking for the Browns, what would our perfect draft look like if we're staying pat, not trading at all, and picking where they currently are right now?
My thing is, with the amount of picks they have, they could not even draft a quarterback this year and win more games than they have the last 3 seasons.
I totally agree with that.
They can go Myles Garrett 1 and double up with another pass rusher or a DB with their second first-round pick, trade back into the first round, and go for maybe... God, they need so much. Trade back into the first round to get a wide receiver, and then just kill it with their third-round onslaught of picks to beef up the defense and come back next year.
If I'm the Browns, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not drafting a quarterback. I did a mock draft where I picked Chad Kelly in like the 5th round, and that's just grabbing him just because because I already picked up a number of different players. It's just
I'd rather take a shot on Gerard
You really
Evans.
want Chad Kelly after you just dealt with Johnny Manziel?
that's the thing
He's
too.
got more talent than Johnny Manziel.
But-
I don't know about that. I don't know if he's got more talent than Johnny Manziel.
He has more NFL talent than Johnny Manziel. I'll say that.
I like Johnny Manziel a lot more than Chad Kelly. 100%.
You do?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I thought Johnny Manziel was a first round pick.
Yeah, I did
I
too.
did too.
But we didn't know.
I did too.
We didn't know.
If he didn't go to if Johnny Manziel did not go to Cleveland, I think it'd be a different story.
Here's the thing. We didn't know all the issues off the field with Johnny Manziel that we already know with Chad Kelly.
You kind of did, though. I mean, Johnny Manziel is the same Johnny Manziel that was at College Station.
Johnny
Is that
Football.
different? I mean, he had the same persona that he had in college.
It's just it went to a whole other level with
He
the
just had a
cocaine
lot
and
more
everything.
money.
Yeah. I mean, I assumed he was going to be more of a Gronk. I didn't know he was going to get into all these drugs and stuff.
Nobody could have saw that coming though. I mean, it's just that was the ultimate tailspin right there. But moving on, I mean,
That's off topic.
in the second round, guys like Buda Baker might be available in the second round. Evan Ingram out of Ole Miss. If OJ Howard might fall to the 12th pick for them, where do you guys see the Browns going in the second round and the third round?
Offensive line.
I mean, I still. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think they have to get that offensive line back together, especially since Joe Thomas was coming to the end.
Yeah, but they also just signed Zeitler. Who else did they sign? They signed the center, Treader out of Green Bay. Their idea is to either have Sean Coleman or Irvin start at right tackle. So, I mean, they've done a pretty good job. They have Batonio coming back from injury at
Batonio's a
left
stud.
guard. So, I mean,
I said Batonio's a stud, but I think they can take one of those tackles that slips into the second round. That's a first round tackle and put him right behind Thomas. If not, take over.
if somebody slips there, though, because, I mean, it's one of the weakest, if not the weakest offensive tackle class in who knows how long. Like, they could go after a guy like Antonio Garcia out of Troy. If they want a developmental guy, they could maybe go for Roderick Johnson out of FSU, but he has a lot of technical stuff to clean up. But he has the athletic ability, he has the length. If you want another guy that has the size and ability, maybe a Julian Davenport in the third or fourth.
I like Julian Davenport.
I mean, I still want to go back to the first because what Miller said, as far as, I mean, Myles Garrett is, he has to be the pick. He's the only way that they can't screw up that pick because everybody expects them to take him. So nobody's got to be critical if he busts, okay? If he busts, at least he made the right pick at the time. Now, with the 12th pick, I mean, you could consider Trubisky if he's still there, and he should be there by my board, but who knows? But I mean, I would prefer that they take a cornerback with that number 12 pick,
Exactly.
and do exactly what you were talking about, Miller, and trade back into the late first for a quarterback if you do want to get a guy with the fifth-year option. Watson could easily slide into the 20s.
Sick.
Trubisky might slide into the 20s. I mean, you've got the connection now with Davis Webb, which is a little bit silly to think about, but
Could happen.
he has the connection to Coach Jackson because Coach Jackson went to Cal. His pro day was in the rain, which Coach Jackson is all about. Wet ball. He had the wet ball with Wentz and Goff last year, and Webb's pro day, he was in the rain. He was throwing it well. And I joke around with Browns fans. I'm like, yeah, you guys should totally trade up ahead of the Giants to get Davis Webb at pick 22, which if anybody knows the Browns, that's like the cursed pick. That's the Brady Quinn pick. That's the Brandon Whedon pick. That's the Johnny Manziel pick. If there's anywhere they should never, ever, ever pick, it's number 22 in the first round. But I mean, yeah, if they want to trade back into the late first and get Davis Webb, I can see that. I can understand it. But get a guy like Gary Ann Conley, get a guy like Marlon Humphrey at pick 12, in my opinion.
So they have a lot of work to do. We know that. So let's move on to everybody loves trades, and there are some interesting trades. And the Maverick has a super hot take. And Josh, I'm going to let you extinguish this take. He has Patrick Mahomes, your boy, going to the Saints at number 2. The Saints are going to trade up from 11 to 2 to select Patrick Mahomes when they have Drew Brees, who's going to be there for who knows how long, 3-4 more years. Can you make any sense out of what he's saying right there?
I mean, basically, it's like trading up to the second overall pick to take Johnny Manziel.
Todd.
That's exactly what I wanted.
I mean, I can't take myself to spend a top 20 pick on that. I mean, he potentially could be one of the best players in the league, but it's a big risk for him.
It is.
Especially for the Saints, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Saints, definitely. I mean, it'd be a great
It's definitely a risk, but the Saints.
Go there.
All right, so I got to give a shout out to one of my guys on Twitter, Nick Martin. He is at the McNartin, MickNartin. He's a writer for Behind the Steel Curtain, which is a Steelers blog, and he got this idea. He got this crazy idea, this little pesky little idea in my head about how much the Saints are showing interest in Mahomes. Given the interest that they're showing, which is significant, they've showed a lot of interest to him. Given Drew Brees' situation, getting up there in age, given the fact that they have the draft capital to make the move, picking 12th, picking 32nd, picking 42nd, if they don't feel like they are a win-now team, I can absolutely see them making a move for that next generational quarterback for that organization, especially with Sean Payton being there, who's a quarterback guru himself. Just imagine Patrick Mahomes, for as much of a playmaker and as exciting as he is as a prospect, getting a couple of years to learn behind Drew Brees and under Sean Payton, and with the dynamic offense that they have now and expect to carry into the future. If they don't feel like they can win now, they might just forget about defense, say, let's move up and get our guy, because I don't think he's going to be there at 11. I don't think they think he's going to be there at 11. Make a move like Philadelphia did last year and go get your guys.
Miller, weigh in.
I can't deny that it's going to be a great situation for him, because anyone sit behind Drew Brees is going to be a great situation. But I think he's going to be there at they have pick 11, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I think he'll be there at pick 11, no doubt.
I don't think there'll be a need to trade up even into the top 8 for Mahomes. I understand the love that you have for that guy. I also have him graded high as well, but I just can't see him even in the top 15. I can see him in the first round quarterback.
It's not just me that loves him.
It's not just you. And you're right, the Saints show incredible interest in him, but there's showing interest, and then there's doing dumb things to bury your franchise. And when you've got someone like Drew Brees still playing like one of the best 3-4 quarterbacks in football, and a defense that can't stop Alabama, I don't know if it's time to pack up and ship away 4 or 5 picks to get a guy that's not even going to play for maybe 2 or 3 years in hopes that he becomes the next Drew Brees in that system. And maybe it's worth it in 2 years to do something like that. But I just right now that just doesn't for how much it would cost to move up to 2, like you're saying, I can't see it now. If they stayed at 11 and take Mahomes, half the fan base will be like, what? And the other half will probably be excited and say, okay, cool, now we can, hold on to Drew Brees for a year, maybe trade him after this season, let Mahomes take over. This is exciting. It's a new era. Cool, now let's build the defense. But trading up for him, no. Maybe trade down for him.
Well,
that's just my opinion on it.
I got two last things to add. One, I'll bet each of you a beer that Patrick Mahomes is off the board by pick 7. He's going in the top 6.
Pick 7? So, and I'll bet you 6 24-packs.
Whoa.
I will take those odds.
He's going all in.
Each a beer. I will bet you each a beer that he is off the board by the time the Chargers are on the clock at 7.
Wow.
He's going top 6. And
you think the Jets might take him?
I forgot.
That would be the shock of the draft.
I don't know if the Jets are going to take him, but I think that if he's there at 6, a team is going to trade up for him because the Chargers are sitting there at 7, moving into a new market, and we saw what happened with the Rams last year when they moved into the LA market, get a flashy new quarterback for ticket sales.
For the bench.
Yeah. Trying to remember what the other thing was, but I lost it.
It's all right. We shall move on to our next topic. Another trade that we have talked about off air, potentially the Broncos moving up to number 10 to draft Christian McCaffrey, who is obviously the golden child. Excuse me, I'm sorry I didn't include that little nugget. I apologize. The golden child, Christian McCaffrey, who is obviously the offspring of Ed McCaffrey. While I believe that McCaffrey would fit in phenomenally with the Broncos, I just don't see Denver moving up. They have such a need at tackle that I believe they're going to stay put. And if they do decide to move up, it's going to be for a guy like Garrett Bowles, Ryan Ramczyk, somebody along the offensive line. They're not going to trade up 10 picks to grab McCaffrey, in my opinion. But if he is sitting there at 20, I think they definitely go ahead and run to the podium and take him. But it's just, to me, it doesn't seem like they're going to move up and take McCaffrey.
When you have a defense like Denver has, the only thing that you possibly could think that you need to complement that is a running back. And someone like McCaffrey, I know what you're saying. It's not just ground and pound. If he's a running back that can be out there every single down, as a running threat, as a passing threat, doesn't matter. If he's out there, it makes the whole game plan a whole hell of a lot easier for the entire offense, and it makes the defense's game a whole lot easier. The defense's best friend is a talented running back, whether he's a pounder or not. Ask the Chiefs with Jamal Charles when he's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see McCaffrey as a 20-touch-a-game guy, one way or the other.
But not just from the backfield.
No, not at all. My
Correct.
ideal scenario for him would be 13 carries out of the backfield and 7 catches a game. And if you get him 20 catches, or if you get him 20 touches a game, he's going to get you 140 yards and keep your offense rolling.
Oh, I love him. I just don't think he's even going to be there at 10. I mean, Carolina could scoop him up at 8.
It's a possibility. If he's there.
He may not even be there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with both of you are saying. I mean, he's a game changer in every sense of the word. But moving up 10 picks is a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it is a lot. But
is McCaffrey the first running back taken?
No.
Yes. Well, it depends on the scenario.
Right.
But
Okay.
But I mean, like, if he does get past Carolina, I don't think he's going to get past San Francisco picking at 11 once they make the trade with the Saints, because I think John Lynch absolutely loves him.
Well,
one feeds into the other.
That
John Lynch would snap McCaffrey up at 11 without a question,
That-
no doubt.
that is my dream. That is my dream spot for McCaffrey, though. Imagine what Kyle Shanahan would do with Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, think about what
My mind would.
bring
I don't know
in.
what I would do. It'd be amazing.
That actually reminded me of what my other point was. Miller, you and I being NFC South guys, do we think the Saints are going to contend in the next 3-4 years with
Not a
Carolina,
chance.
with your team Atlanta, with my Bucks on the rise? If they don't
Are
feel
they
like
going to
can
contend?
with that, if they don't feel like they can contend with that in the next year or two, they're going to take the quarterback.
I don't know.
Can we all agree that San Francisco definitely wants to trade out of 2?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just even with Washington, how do you guys view do you think Kirk Cousins could potentially be moved for the second pick potentially, or
Not this year.
do you see any other teams that are Do you see any other teams that would be willing to
I think
trade to number 2?
I think that's dead for now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see it
Yeah, I
happening.
agree.
What was that again?
I personally
Jack Kirk's not going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere, but if you're the Redskins, do you want to take advantage of the max value that he possesses? I think he possesses the most value right now.
I agree with.
Just because he has all the leverage. I mean, supposedly they already offered him a 5-year deal. It's a lowball offer. The guy is not going to want to re-sign there after this year. Why not get a bevy of picks for him, or even move up to number 2 and draft a game changer on defense for a run defense that was absolutely dreadful last year? I mean, it might make sense just to move on. I mean, I know they said they believe in Colt McCoy, but I don't believe that. But I mean, they could take a quarterback at number 17. Trubisky could be there. Mahomes could potentially be there. Watson could be there at 17. So I mean, they could.
So are you saying that they could get the number 2 pick for Cousins just straight up?
I'm saying that's a possibility. Yes.
No.
I don't think there's any way. I don't think
No?
there's any chance in anywhere. They could get
Maybe
a
Cousins
they
in the
might be
second.
able to. They might be able to swap picks for him, but they're not going to get the number 2 pick straight up for him. I don't see any way, especially when he's on a 1-year deal right now.
Not a chance.
If they trade their current first round pick with Kirk Cousins, they can get up to 2.
It would have to be their current with Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins and like a third.
No, I don't think so. I think San Francisco.
Cousins in
Shanahan,
17.
I think he loves him so much, he's gonna jump on the table for him.
Yeah, but think about how much they'd be paying for him also compared to what they would be paying for a quarterback if they drafted him at number 2. You're paying so much. You're getting a more proven guy, but you're paying so much more for him. Like he's under a franchise. That's for sure. What's going on? What was that?
We're good.
What was that?
I want San Francisco to trade back for the simple fact that I want Deshaun Watson to end up there. That is the only reason.
I mean, they could potentially trade back into the first round into the early 20s and get Watson, because I think he's going to slide similar to how Bridgewater slid a couple of years ago.
Watson with Kyle Shanahan would be amazing.
It would be good. I'm not arguing that at all. I like the fit. I just think that he's gonna slide. He's not gonna go. I don't think he's gonna go top 20.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. He's been so disrespected.
Well, speaking of teams that could trade back into the late first round for quarterbacks, I mean, we have Cleveland, San Francisco, Jacksonville potentially. They're not sure of Bortles. Chicago, I mean, we just signed Glennon, but is he the answer? The Chargers, the Jets, New Orleans. There's a lot of teams that could actually trade back into the first round for a quarterback. Who do you guys see as the team that stands out the most that would actually make a move to get that 50-year option for a quarterback?
All of them. I think they're all going to be fighting each other. I think we're going to see so much trade activity. We're going to be seeing so much trade activity. Whoever doesn't take a quarterback in the top 6 to 10, they're going to jump back into the late. They're going to try to jump back into the late first round to get. That's why I think that there could be 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. I don't think they're all going to go very high.
And we'll pick up the phone.
Go in the first round.
And we will take those trades. Who wants 31?
I'm in the same boat. If somebody calls the Giants at 23, I'm saying let's go. Let's make this move. Let's get the hell out. The Giants roster's built to compete for a championship this year, in my opinion. And a guy at 23, unless it's like David Njoku, who I absolutely love, and I think would be an amazing fit with the Giants, I'm willing to trade back and acquire some extra picks. It just makes.
He's not going to be there, I don't think.
He could be off the board fairly quick, possibly. I mean, there's a number of different spots where he can go, but
I mean, the ones that I see, I think Cleveland for Webb. I think San Francisco for Kaiser. I think Jacksonville for Watson are the 3 that are going to go. That are going to end up trading back. Jacksonville for Watson. Yes, you heard it.
Wow.
That's a culture changer pick. That's a Coughlin pick, in my opinion. That's a guy that Coughlin would target to say, we need somebody that'll come in and light this team on fire from the quarterback position, which is something that Bortles has not been able to do.
I get it. I just don't want to see it happen to Watson.
I get that, yeah. But I think that even with the proximity, Jacksonville likes to draft guys that are in close proximity to Jacksonville for, fan favorites, ticket sales. I mean, it is still a business. You still need to sell tickets. He's coming off the championship. He's a great leader. He's a great winner. I see that being a good fit for him.
I see it being a great fit as far as predicting, but not a great fit as far as success. Other than the Browns and the Niners, I feel like the Bears are probably the biggest team that have the best opportunity to, are most likely to hop back into round 1 and take a quarterback. I don't think there's any chance they draft a quarterback at 3. I think there's way too much high caliber defensive players that they would love to bring into the Soldier Field and bring back that vaunted Bears defense they haven't had in a while. Jamal Adams is the perfect slot for me, but I think the Bears are the best chance. I think the Bears will be in there between 25 and 30, getting a quarterback.
In my scenario earlier, before I had Mahomes with the Saints trading up to 2, I had Mahomes going 3 to Chicago. And I don't think that they're out of the quarterback running. I think that if Mahomes does go at 2, they could go with Trubisky at 3. If Mahomes is there at 3, they could go with Mahomes. If they decide not to, then I could see them trading back into the first for Kaiser. And even Watson possibly, but I think Kaiser kind of fits what they want more. They've visited with him apparently twice in Chicago. They flew him in to their facilities twice, I believe.
That sucks.
It is what it is.
The Bears.
Look, Mike, we all like to laugh when you say all these things about these quarterbacks going in the top 5 or the top 7. But you know what? Honestly, you're saying the dumb shit that these teams actually do. And we're laughing. We're laughing because they shouldn't be doing this.
Yes.
But realistically,
I fully support them doing it. I fully support them doing it for the right person. I fully support them doing it for the right guy, but I don't.
It's just so sad it's possible.
The right guy. I think that Mahomes is worth it. I don't think that Trubisky's worth it, and then all the other quarterbacks, in the late first.
I'm just such a firm believer in best player available. I cannot wrap my head around all these teams. Every year, these 3 teams reach so bad for a quarterback just because they need one. That's great, right? You need a quarterback. Cool, but it's not worth throwing away your draft.
You have to build your team around the quarterback in order to be successful. It can't just be a one-man show. Nobody.
I disagree, though. I don't think it's like that.
What do you mean? You just
Brian Johnson, Trent Dilfer. Bums.
that's what I'm saying. You have to build your team around the quarterback. You have to have a team around the quarterback. You can't just have an all-star quarterback and expect him to light everything up. It doesn't happen that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was agreeing with you. Yeah. So let's do we ran a little long on that segment. Let's do a little quick hit. Right now, do the Jets take a quarterback in the first round or the second round, or do they trade up? Really quick, 30 seconds.
Trade up.
Why are they such a dumpster fire? They can't take a quarterback. They can't. They have to give Hackenberg a chance. As much as I don't like him, they have to give him a chance.
All right.
But if they don't like him, they don't have to.
And they shouldn't have taken him in the second round last year.
I say they don't take one. Let's do that.
I think they will too.
Over under 4.5. How many QBs end up in the first round? Quick hit.
Over under what?
Over under 4.5.
4.5. Under.
Under.
Over.
I'll take over.
Over.
Oh.
I'll take 5.
Mike's taking 5. Josh, what are you taking?
I'm taking 3.
3. So the under.
Taking 4.
So you're way under.
All right. So that was some good.
Teams are smart.
Exactly. So it's being reported that Sheldon Richardson could be moved for a 4th round pick. Are you swinging the fence right now and calling up the Jets general manager and saying, "Give me that man for my 4th round pick"? Yes or no?
I will give
Miller
a
take
third.
this one.
Yes, I'll give a third.
Miller
But
will upset.
would the Falcons really give a third round pick for him, or a
Yes.
4th round pick?
Yes. Yes, especially a 4th round pick, because that's actually a position of need that we're looking at.
Yeah, but he's not the kind of guy that they bring into their roster.
What do you mean by that?
He's got off the field issues. He's got
We don't have that code anymore.
no.
No, we totally threw that away 2 years ago.
Okay.
They still
You're right,
So
though.
that was the end philosophy.
No, you're right though. That was the TD Arthur Blank way of doing things. No matter what the talent level was, if you've got problems, we're just drafting Boy Scouts.
And then
But
they sold their soul and made it to the Super Bowl.
exactly. So I'll take it.
All right. Final quick
And
hit.
then lost.
Final quick hit. Will an offensive tackle go in the top 10?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I say yes.
no.
they always do.
The demand is so high.
There's too much
There's so little
supply and demand.
offensive alignment in this draft. It's going to be such demand.
Demand is high. Supply is low. Give me the yes.
You know?
Are we
I say
unanimous
no.
on that one?
No, I say no.
I say no.
All right, so now sticking with the offensive line subject, there are some names out there that could potentially be traded. I mean, the Browns would be ridiculously idiotic, in my opinion, to trade Joe Thomas, but we did hear rumblings earlier in the year. A guy like Jason Peters has had a phenomenal career, but he could, I don't know, if somebody offers a high round pick for him, he could be moved.
I can do that.
Do you guys
I think just
see?
to get him off the books, he could be moved.
Do you guys see him being moved, or do you see Joe Thomas being moved? Any of these other veteran left tackles that are on struggling teams that?
Joe Thomas, absolutely not, because if he was going to be moved, he already would have been.
He won't
He's
allow it.
actually said that he wants to stay with the organization.
Yep.
So
By the way, he's also fantastic.
Peter to get traded.
He's also a fantastic Twitter follow. If you don't follow him, he might be the most entertaining person on Twitter right now. So if you don't follow Joe Thomas on Twitter, you're missing out. He's great.
I can absolutely see Peters though. For one reason, like Mike said, definitely to get him off the books, but he's coming to the end, so get something out of him while you can.
Absolutely.
That and the fact that they've had Lane Johnson be as good as he is, as talented as he
Yes.
is, like Lane Johnson's a legitimate top left tackle talent, and because of the fact that they've had Jason Peters blocking the door, so to speak, at left tackle, he's been forced to play right tackle his entire career so far. And they just have too much invested. They just have too much invested in those two bookends that, especially Jason Peters getting to the end of his career, he has an Achilles injury from a couple years ago. I just can't see them keeping him on the books when you've got Lane Johnson. You know, he's not facing a 10-game suspension yet this year. So I mean, if they're comfortable with that, then get rid of Peters, slide Lane Johnson over, and fill right tackle with somebody like every other team does.
I agree.
Okay, can I be honest? I'm sitting here literally, I just zoned out daydreaming about Sheldon Richardson and about the jersey.
Dave,
Sorry.
Just get one made and protest outside the new stadium.
I'm gonna go to Flower Branch and make it heard. I've done it before.
Even though I've heard that stadium actually might be delayed, like it might not make preseason. It's kind of getting scary over there. Have you heard any new news about the stadium?
I haven't heard anything new, but I've heard there might be like a 3-week delay.
Pushing it close.
That's a pretty big delay.
Yeah,
Pretty big delay.
got some big games coming up. FSU, Bama. You know, just I don't know. Might be a national championship preview. Who knows? We shall see.
They can move it to Orlando if they want.
I'm sure you would love that, Maverick.
I'll go check it out.
Why not?
Get my media credentials for it.
That's the way to do it. So now, another big topic in the NFL today was that Marshawn Lynch signed a deal with the Oakland Raiders. However, it's not official yet. They still would have to make a trade for him. But do you guys see the Raiders drafting another running back if Lynch is on the roster, or do you see them keeping the three-headed attack that they currently would have?
I can see them taking a late pick.
I mean, if Cook fell to him in the first round, I'd take Cook in a heartbeat. If Mixon fell to him in the second round, I'd take him. So, I mean, it just depends who falls to him.
Even with Lynch on the roster, you'd still take either one of those guys.
I mean, Lynch is coming out of retirement, though.
But he's beast
retire
mode.
next year, and then you're stuck to draft another quarterback.
But it's beast mode.
I mean, to be honest, they're not getting Lynch to be anything more than a one-year guy.
Yeah.
They have Jalen Richard. They have Washington behind him. They're both kind of smaller third down back types.
They're both nothing.
So I could definitely see them getting a guy with size. If Mixon does fall to them in the second round, which I think is highly unlikely, if not impossible, I could see them going there. There is a bit of a relationship, I believe, between Lynch and Mixon. Or I could see them getting a power back like Samaje Perine if he's there in the second or third, a combo back.
I've actually mocked that.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see them getting a running back with some size. Yeah.
I mean, this running back class, this running back class as a whole is phenomenal. So I mean, they can find value later in the draft. So I could definitely see them making a move in the middle rounds. But another hypothetical. I mean, the past 2 years have been great with running backs. Actually, I should say 3 years. A few years ago, Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon kind of rebirthed the running back going in the first round. If those two guys were in this draft, where would you guys have them ranked in terms of these running backs? I personally would have Gurley number 1, Fournette 2, McCaffrey 3, Mixon 4. I mean, Mixon's tough though because his talent. I love Mixon as a player, but it's just obviously what he did. Mixon 4. Probably it's tough. Probably I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with your top 3.
Would you go Gordon over Cook? I would go Gordon over Cook, and then probably Cook right after Gordon.
I would have Gordon like 6th, to be honest, 6th or 7th.
Do you remember how explosive Melvin Gordon was coming out of college?
Oh, exactly.
He was
Yeah,
more
and I had him
explosive
as
than Fournette, in my opinion.
But I still would take.
Look, a lot of guys are explosive, but
Are we?
But I mean, explosive with size.
Early is one of the best running backs to come out in a long, long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he had the ACL coming out too.
The ACL was scary, but before that, he was just absolutely dynamic. Every run was
Absolutely.
you couldn't go
He's
get
the
it.
best player I've ever graded.
You couldn't go to the fridge when Georgia was on offense when Gurley was playing. He was a home run hitter. Just
I got the Phillies pat on today.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, if we're including, I want to include Ezekiel Elliott from last year.
you could
also.
do that. Yeah,
So
I didn't include that.
I would go Zeke, Gurley, Mixon, Gordon, Fournette, and if we're including McCaffrey, he's ahead of Fournette for me because of his versatility. But if we want to just stick to the bigger guys, then I would have Melvin Gordon just ahead of Fournette, just because I like explosive backs that can do a little bit more than just run through people. I mean, for me, Fournette needs to have a good offensive line, a power offensive line to be successful. He doesn't create on his own. So that's the edge. I see more to Gordon than you do apparently. I mean that's fine, but I just see a little bit more than Fournette offers for me.
fair enough.
Same thing with the quarterbacks. How would you guys, if Goff and Wentz were in this class, we're going to exclude, I mean, did any of you guys have Dak Prescott in the first or second round last year?
I had him in the second.
You had him in the second.
I have second.
I had him in the
I believe
second.
I had him as a third.
The only reason that I had him behind Paxton Lynch was because of the DUI in the draft process. I had him ahead of Paxton Lynch until the DUI, and then I dropped him.
You know what? And I got to be honest, guys. We still don't know how good he is. You can say what you want about last
Calm down.
year.
He's great.
You can say what you want about last year. Hold on. You can say what you want, but the guy had to throw 15 passes a game with the best offensive line and the best running back in football because of that offensive line. So until I got to see him do something, he's good. He's good right now. He's good.
So are you taking any of these quarterbacks ahead of Goff Wentz last year?
I am personally. I mean, you guys know.
Man.
You guys know.
I think I like 3 quarterbacks this year,
You guys
man,
know
both
that
of
with
them.
Mahomes.
It's just to me, it's just funny. It's just funny how year to year it could change like that. You have 2 teams trading up to the top 2 picks to take guys who none of us really loved. This year, nobody loves these guys, but we're not sure where they're going to end up. It's a totally different storyline that we have, and that's what makes the draft amazing. I think it's just you never know what you're going to get. So
For me personally, I really did love Carson Wentz last year.
I did too.
Seeing him in person, up close and personal at the Senior Bowl, seeing the control that he had over the game, the mental aspect, the awareness, the leadership, and he had the physical ability to go with it. I did love Wentz. I had him ahead of Goff. I bought into Goff a little bit more than I should have. I was a little bit concerned that he was a little mentally fragile, kind of like I'm concerned with Kaiser this year, but not necessarily in the same way. But I saw a little bit of Joey Harrington in him, personality-wise. But I mean, like, comparing last year's class to this year's class, I have Mahomes, and then I have Wentz, and then I have Watson, and then, I would have had Goff, Lynch, Prescott ahead of any of the other guys in this year's class.
can't argue with that. That's solid.
I think I actually like 3 quarterbacks this year better than anyone last year. In Watson, Mahomes, and Webb.
I didn't like either of them last year enough to warrant where they went. Obviously, I mean, I felt the same way about them as I do about these guys. They should be top 15 or later, all of them. Nobody should be wasting a top 15 pick on these quarterbacks. I understand what the Rams did. Going to a new city, you want that face of the franchise, but Goff just didn't seem like he was that worthy of that number 1 overall pick. I wasn't excited watching Jared Goff as I was even Matthew Stafford a few years ago, or even a guy like Jamarcus Russell, as crazy as it sounds. Like, I just wasn't excited about Jared Goff.
God, I love Jamarcus Russell. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that guy.
All right, guys. So I think that was a pretty great discussion. We're running pretty late on time here, so any final thoughts that you guys want to throw out there before we wrap this pilot episode up?
Sheldon Richardson coming to Atlanta. Watson married Kyle Shanahan. And McCaffrey, you'll ball anywhere.
Jerry Reese, continue to not draft a linebacker in the first round. I do not want a linebacker. Well, we could find somebody in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever. Grab my boy from the U, David Njoku. Yeah, I just tried to rhyme, but it didn't work out. Or grab an offensive tackle. I don't care. Anyone but a linebacker. Let's make it happen.
I'm ready to have a war daddy on the Cowboys. That's all I know.
I did like that
Mahomes
term.
going top 6. It's going to happen.
Believe that.
Oh, man,
You guys
that's so
can,
sad.
you guys can fight it.
Johnny, what
You
do you
guys
think?
can
Johnny
fight it, but
Manziel going top 6?
Patrick Mahomes going top 6. Joe Mixon is going first round. Dalvin Cook and Reuben Foster are falling out of the first round.
All possible. All
I mean,
possible.
Miles Jack fell out of the first round for less reasons than Reuben Foster has to fall out this year.
And Uncle Rico is going in the 2nd round, too.
Rico. He could throw it over the mountains. I saw it myself.
All right, guys. Over and out.